All right, so look, Cam is one of those artists that we know has transcended rap. He's a pop culture phenomenon. He influenced style and everything. So just right off the top, fans, when they debate Cameron, we've had this discussion internally, there's no middle ground. Either you think he's one of the greatest of all time, or people think he's overrated. I know none of you feel like he's overrated, neither do I.
I don't.
Where do you place him in your list of all-time greatest artists, rappers?
Top 20. Just because, and again, maybe it's just from the lens I'm looking at. Again, everything we say here is from the lens we're looking at. Again, my high school and even right about college years, yeah, I was really fucking with Cam. You know what I mean? Cam was really, like, the people, and you can clown all you want about me not leaving the house, but the people who were of my age group, Cam was the epitome of swag. You wanted to be like Cam. So, for me, I can't name 20 artists that's better than Cam, and it's more than just. I can't.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't. I think I'm telling you I can't.
Yo, he blinked like 4 times.
Well,
No,
that's
I
why.
can't.
It's like a takeoff. Like, wait, are you telling me something?
Well, that's why I love these evergreen episodes where we kind of just have the entire clock to talk. Let's do it.
We didn't come prepared to like name a list.
I did.
Well, cut it out.
You have a top 20 on the top of your head?
Fair warning, though.
20
Where
is
would
20.
Cam
Well,
rank?
20 is very easy.
You
That's
keep
the
on
only
running
reason.
20.
15 is by default.
What was that?
Like when we
Name
talk
it.
about the top 15 artists, Big, Pac, Rakim, MJ, right? Nas, Ice Cube, Scarface, and I'm just naming anywhere from 1 to 15. Redman, is Cameron better than Redman? No way on God's green earth. And I say that with all due respect to Cam.
Lyricism you're talking about.
Wayne, let's get to today. Drake, you can name 20 people.
Wait. Okay.
My only point is, my only point is you can name 20 people.
What's criteria?
Best or greatest?
What criteria?
Best of all time, whatever criteria you use.
If Drake's on that list, Cam definitely in my top 20.
I'm listening.
He's just definitely in my top 20. If we're looking just more than bars, right? Like
You're looking at everything, yeah.
Okay, if we're looking at everything, yeah, Cam's influence on the culture. I mean, and again, maybe I'm overrating him in that aspect. I mean, just Cam, and I believe the entire, I think he defined a wave. I feel like Dipset defined a wave.
They did.
I just, if we're taking all that into account, I just can't throw some of the names maybe even above him if we're taking everything else into account.
Depending on what your criteria is.
Yeah.
You know, Cam is probably, if I had to freestyle it, he's between 30 and 40 to me. And I know that sounds insulting, but
it doesn't sound insulting. I mean, top 50. There's not a lot of hip hop artists.
I can name everybody in my top 50 damn near, and to say Cam is a top 40 MC of all time, I don't think that's disrespectful.
Okay, well, where does Cam fit in your New York rankings? And we're considering a lot. Influence. We're considering
right behind G Unit, and actually, I take that back.
Individual artists.
I could tie them. I could tie G Unit and Dipset. I could. I know that sounds crazy. I could tie them as far as in terms of impact to culture. I know that sounds crazy.
As in they're tallied up, they tie each other, or you can connect?
As in how they have impacted. I could almost make a case that Dipset wins.
Okay.
And this is how. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
This is a hot take. I credit Cam with Southern rappers' success still to this day. The way that we receive the South and Atlanta
and embrace it
is 100% all praise due to Cam. Cam, during this time that you speak of when he had all this influence in New York, was the one to embrace Wayne. He was the one, we wasn't fucking with Wayne like that in New York at all. When Cam said it was cool, when Jewel said it was cool, when Dipset said it was cool to rock with Wayne, that's when we rocked with Wayne. And that is when Wayne started, I'm the best rapper in the world. And that's when we started listening. And that's when he started to show and prove that he was the best rapper in the world. But in New York, we wouldn't care about that. In the South, do they care that Wayne's the best rapper in the world in the South? I don't think so. If we're looking at the South still to this day, how much credence do they give to bars is what I'm saying. Very little, very little. phenomenal MCs out there, but they're not grading your success on the bars that you spit. It wasn't until New York accepted Wayne. This is where we fuck with lyricism. This is where we fuck with bars and what you are doing. This is the mecca of hip hop. When you are accepted here, when you play on West 4th, when you play in the Garden, you can go anywhere else and play if there's a rim. It's the same thing in rap in New York. When we accepted him here, it allowed an entirely new conversation to be birthed in terms of Wayne. And how we received Wayne, I'm not talking about in the South, I'm talking about over here. How we received him from that point allowed us to receive the rest of them differently than we were used to. That effect is happening still today. Today. When Cameron, if we listen to some of Dipset's and Cameron's earlier music last decade, and I know this because my big records were up-tempo records last decade. Know why that is? Because the last decade, that's what was happening. Up-tempo records. You could probably name less than 15 up-tempo records that have come out this decade. And that's if you tried hard. Know why? It's not the sound. The sound is down-tempo. The sound is double time. The sound is a different bop.
Arguably. I mean...
It's not arguably. Don't you argue it. The sound is double time today.
Well... I mean, of course, if we're talking about just
the sound is Atlanta rocking, it's double time.
That's if you're talking about Atlanta music. If we're talking about, I mean, how many hits that Mustard put out? That's up tempo.
Whoa.
It's 100 BPM. It's club tempo.
Great. And he had a pocket with that. Know why? Because it wasn't being done.
Yeah.
Mustard was the only one doing BPMs of 100. My point is there was no Mustard in the time I'm talking about. The time I'm talking about is last decade when everybody in New York was doing up-tempos, when everybody in New York was doing harder shit. It was Cam that slowed things down. It was Cam that brought the BPMs from the 80s to like the 60s. And when you drop it to the 60s, low 70s, now you are allowing all of the southern niggas to do what the fuck they do, which is get busy in New York. We didn't rap over those beats. It was him. It was him. So I'm crediting him with that. I am. So when I speak about Cam's legacy and when I speak about Dipset's legacy, that is included. Wayne is included. Fucking all of that, the pink, wearing pink, the pink Range Rover. Listen, I don't know what school that is on 50th Street, right? But the Def Jam I was signed to was on 50th Street. They moved now. But whatever school that was there, Cam used to park that pink Range right in the fucking lot between 8th and 9th. And when I tell you every single day, that entire school surrounded that pink Range, that's what happened. The Dipset phenomenon was our G-Unit phenomenon before we saw the G-Unit phenomenon. The G-Unit phenomenon was worldwide. If you were in New York, you got to witness something really special with what Dipset was doing.
So with all that, with you saying all that shit, why is he not like top 20? Because you count more than bars. You count
computers putin. That's
computers
why.
Putin?
That's why.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, that's a hard bar.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's not. And listen, I don't like Cam is one of my favorite MCs of all time.
You don't fuck with computers Putin, Joe?
No, I do. I'm telling you why.
Cam always had like a jokey type of way of rapping.
I fuck with that unique style. Yeah. All of the niggas that came out in the 90s, they have a very unique style. Ghost, Cam, Ray, I mean, whoever we want to name from the 90s, they have a very unique style. So Cam has a unique style. So when Cam says, I get computers Putin, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard. Why is it hard? Because Cam is hard. That is talent. That is a skill set. I'm incorporating that when I think about him in the top 40. The fact that he could say, him, Prodigy, Nori, it's a few niggas who, if you're looking at technical skill sets, they wouldn't be very high. But if you look at their just skill set, they're high. Computers Putin is why Cam can't be a top 20 MC. We can never say that Cam is better than Black Thought. I can't.
Okay. But if you're summing up everything, I mean,
I'm never saying. Listen, if you sum up everything, is Cam better than Black Thought? Y'all want to have a Roots Appreciation Day up here?
Wait.
But this is like your greatest and your
This
best
is like the
thing.
greatest. That's what I'm saying. If you throw Drake in there, if we're throwing Drake in there,
I'm throwing in all the artists.
That's
all of them.
That's why. If
all of them are in there,
so you have Drake over Black Thought?
Yeah, Drake is over Black Thought. Yes.
So what are we talking about with Drake? Well, actually,
Black Thought excelled in, and this is my opinion, Black Thought is the best rapper in the universe.
Okay.
His slider is all the way up when you talk about rap. When you talk about impact and the impact that the Roots have had, that slider is all the way up. Now, what criteria is everyone using to gauge this? When we look at Drake's numbers, coupled with Drake's skill set, coupled with some other things, Drake has more sliders all the way up than Black Thought does. Can Drake rap better than Black Thought? Not a fucking cold day in hell.
So that's what I was trying to.
Okay, so a couple quick things. Really quick.
I'm going up whatever your.
Really quick, where do you put Cam on your star ranking system? No explanations, just like where do you put him?
I don't know what you mean by
superstar, megastar. What kind of star is Cam?
Cam in his peak. In his prime?
Cam looking back now.
Now you got to say, because now we had a legend or not conversation. We got to talk about his peak.
So peak and then legend.
Peak, yeah.
Okay, so at his peak, star. Just star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Cam was never a superstar.
I mean, he did have some records.
You said he didn't have a global reach.
That has nothing to do with being a superstar.
Right.
Cam, he didn't have that global impact.
Listen, I was at Limelight when the Rockefeller release party for the signing of Dipset happened. And you couldn't, it was like rock stars. That's what it looked like with Zeke and all them niggas over there. So I'm saying star because I don't think Cam ever made the music to attempt to be bigger than that. What's Cam's biggest record? Oh Boy, I would assume. Yeah. So I think about Rockefeller and Cam during the Oh Boy times. I like to put everybody at their highest time. He wasn't a superstar then. So why would we call Cam a superstar? Star, yes. Superstar puts you worldwide, and the entire America was wearing pink. I don't know if they were doing that in London. I don't know if they were doing that in, wherever, in France. I don't know.
I agree with you with that. If that's criteria, I agree with you with that. I do believe if Cam, and I know you can't put somebody in a different time and generation. I feel like if it was now, with the advent of just how some of the stuff he was doing then that stuck out, that people were looking at and either were really critical or drawn to, he would definitely be, I think, a superstar now.
That's the stuff he's revered for now, though, in terms of legendary. But anyway, so Joe explained, when we're talking about Cam's influence in 2017, how we can see it, how we can feel it. So he talked about him putting on Southern rappers, etc. What do you think? What do you see now? What is Cam's influence? The way you talk about like a Chief Keef inspiring a generation of rappers.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard. Cause like Cam inspired me. Like I remember, like when I say Cam inspired me, I'm talking like what means the world to you, Cam. That's a different Cam. So when you ask an act that, it's hard to say. I would like them to answer.
I wonder if you see it in any of the artists that you champion and promote now.
I mean, of course it's changed. It's not like just direct, like you just see something directly. I mean, of course his fashion sense, and also kind of that lifestyle he promoted with his music. You now see with most of these people, they're pushing that heavy with their music as well. Like that's you kind of need that now. You kind of almost have to have a lifestyle to kind of have your own wave, your own movement. Cam definitely, like when we bought into Dipset, you bought into Dipset as a whole lifestyle. You thought they were a certain type of way personally. You thought they were super cool. Rapping wise, again, we're accepting shit from them now that if you didn't like that person, you're killing them for. So it was all of that. Now you see with different. I mean, even the mob, ASAP Mob, and we had Ferg. Ferg said, yeah, like Cam and like how he moved, and of course he did credit Wu-Tang as well. He said they kind of inspired us on how we should kind of move. So I mean, lifestyle is definitely one of the biggest things. Even fashion, I mean, fashion has definitely gone a little left, but even wearing colors that people never thought were masculine, pink. Start wearing pink, and now you see people wearing stuff now that's pushing the boundary. Again, maybe, I don't know if Cam would exactly wear it, but Cam was pushing the boundary then. So again, I would have to credit that to Cam because he pushed the boundary when it was seen that the tough guys don't wear those type of stuff. Maybe if you weren't a tough guy, but if you're the tough guy, you don't wear that.
Right.
And you know what? Here's another fun fact to add about Cam. You know, we could all debate for days about where he places as a musician, right? Cam is a businessman, though. Cam was one of the first artists to do these kind of left-right deals, i.e. the scissor deal that not a lot of people remember.
And that was also him incorporating the South.
They got a lot of money for that, right? Today we're in the times of Netflix docs. The New Edition doc was real big for BET. Niggas are shooting independent films and doing all that. Let's remember that Cam was doing that in 01. Cam was doing that in 02. So some of the things that he was able to have foresight about just in business, you know, and when I say business, I'm putting the Dipset turmoil in that because that's a business beef. I'm putting whatever old Jewel's Def Jam situation we heard rumors about, that's a business beef. All of the business beefs even that we heard from last decade, they all go to Cam at the head because he was on top of his business. Outside of music, forget music. The music was great. You're doing great. But as a businessman, I'd love to rank him there.
We should do that. I want to get back to it, but let's wrap on music really quick and then get to that. All of his beefs and his business.
Come on home. Come home with me, young people. If you know nothing of Cameron, if you've never heard a song, Come Home With Me by Cameron.
Is it a classic album?
Deep.
Does Cam have a classic album?
The consensus is it's not.
Okay. Because I know his favorites are different. So does Cam have a classic album?
Yes.
If he does, which one would it be?
SDE. Sports, drugs, and entertainment. Classic.
Cult classic. Cult classic.
I would argue that it's only a cult classic because maybe it wasn't heard like
that's why
mainstream. But if there was gonna be a classic Cam album, is that? I mean, even had Beyonce, Destiny Child were on that project. That project was peak Cam. I've listened to every Cam album since. That again, it's a different aura from Killer Cam, but that was when Cam. If I was ever see if we get in a conversation where people are critiquing the computers Putin and some of the stuff he may have said on Get 'Em Girls or whatever else, and they try to criticize those things, I would point them back to Cam's lyrical ability, and I would point them to that album. SDE was a joint for me.
The more I'm listening to you talk, the more credit I'm going to give Cam, because now I'm going to put Kanye in the Cam family tree too.
Okay.
Because Kanye has said all of last decade that Cam is one of the people that inspired him, that taught him how to rap, that was there for him. I'm putting him there too. Cam is underrated, man. Cam is underrated.
One of the things, and I guess it's an intangible attribute.
D-Ruggs, young people, Cameron, D-Ruggs, another one.
They got
lyric is turning up in the.
Sometimes she knows good music.
She's out here screaming.
D-Ruggs, like, come on, Cam.
There's intangible attributes of like rappers and how they flow, but Cam raps and it seems so effortlessly. Like when you think about rappers who just seem to be bodying shit effortlessly, Cam. Like I'm just hearing him over a beat. Even I think we're gonna talk about the freestyle later. I mean, certain shit he would say. And again, sometimes it might not be the highest lyrical quality, but effortlessly he seemed to be just annihilating stuff.
You know what's funny about that? Now that you say that, and now that I recant some shit I said in the opening break, I mean, in my humble opinion, maybe I could name 35 rappers better than Cam by my criteria. However, anytime you put Cam with the best rappers in the world, he wasn't out of place. Who had the best verse on Banned from TV? Don't even waste your time. There's no wrong answer to it.